Good evening. This is Mariah Lucian Lonergan. I am one of the information officers, and I am live here with the McKinley fire at the Incident Command Post on September 2nd. And tonight with me, this is our first night of assuming command. And tonight I have two special guests. We have our incident meteorologist, Mark, and he's going to tell us a little bit about today's weather, what we saw out there on the fire line, that storm moving through, and how much rain we saw as well.
Yeah, well, here at ICP, we're in Willow, so we did pick up a half-inch of rain total today, about 1,500 this morning, and then we had about a 10-15 minute period with that thunderstorm. We had a 3,500, so a lot of rain at once. Also some hail with that. Wind gusts weren't too bad, about 10 miles per hour, but still could be a problem in some locations. That passed over us. I went ahead and radioed up to the fire, made sure that everybody up there was well aware it was coming. And this fire's kind of long and skinny, so looking on the map here, it's not too wide, and that was enough that thunderstorm was able to track over the entire fire as it went from south to north. Now, probably didn't produce as much rain over the fire as we got here at ICP. Just on the radar, you could see that it weakened a little bit as it went over the fire, but still did get some decent rain moving over the area.
Great, thank you. And that humidity, it's staying up, and firefighters are able to that's helping them out there, right?
Yeah, that humidity staying up is because of all the extra moisture in the air from those thunderstorms moving through. That'll actually take us through tomorrow as well. And we actually even have some chances, some more rain for tonight and tomorrow morning, so we're not completely done. I think we're done with those big thunderstorms, though. As the sun sets, things aren't as active, so maybe a little more rain, though, tonight.
All right, good to hear additional rain. Thank you very much, Mark. We also have with us our fire behavior, and his name is Bruce Giersdorf, and he's just going to talk a little bit about what firefighters are seeing out there, and that duff layer, and what it is. There's a lot of work still out there, and what it is that they're actually doing. So,
well, thank you. Yeah, so what we've been paying close attention to here has not been so much the surface fire activity, because with the recent intermittent rainfall we've been having, that has pretty much been non-existent. What has not changed is that deep drying that we've experienced here that you've experienced for months, and that we've encountered here on the fire. So some of our indices that we use for that are our buildup index, our drought codes. Those are at extreme, and even with the moisture that we've gotten, potentially even with the half an inch of moisture that we've got, those are probably still going to stay extreme. I know this morning, after 0.15 inches of rain, the calculations at that time still had them at extreme. So it'll be interesting to see. I was up on the fire, and I took a look at what the crews have been working in and some of the condition up there after 0.15 inches of rain. And what I saw was about the top 2 inches of the forest floor had taken on some of that moisture. But underneath that, from 2 inches on down, it was just as dry as it had been before it even started to rain. And that's where most of the work is below that layer, in that deeper duff. Some of those holes out there are 1 to 3 feet deep that are presently burning. And what happens with the rainfall that we have, that's going to continue. What has been happening as that surface layer gets moist and stops burning, underneath it still being dry, that continues to burn. So what you get is like a kettlebell effect, so to speak, where the top of what's burning may be a 3-foot circle, but 18 inches below the surface, it might be a 5-foot circle. So you've got an edge that's undermined where it comes down and burns out like yay. And that has been something that's been very difficult for the crews to work on. There's also been the conversation of the roots burning out and trees tipping over onto existing hot areas and live fire. Now with some moisture, that is not going to be as much of a concern, but what will happen is that as we dry out, what has fallen down will dry out also, and that will now become more of a concern in the coming days unless we get yet another round of moisture. So a lot of the condition that we've been seeing is still here, even though we've had the light rainfall that we've had.
Great, thank you, Bruce. I think that that kettlebell image is a pretty good visual for what we're seeing out there on the ground and pretty helpful. So thank you for that. I do just want to check in there on and see if there's any comments. Like I mentioned this morning, we did take command of the fire. The Northern Rockies Team 7 took command of the fire this morning, and we'll continue doing the live feeds just like the Alaska team. I hear that those are pretty useful. And I would love to hear what it is that folks would like to hear more of, want to hear from operations, want to hear on a certain part of the certain area of the fire. So we have quite a few information officers that are working hard to get you the information that you need. So as you're viewing this, go ahead and drop comments down in and what information we can get you better. Thank you for tuning in tonight.